Welcome back, everyone. In today's episode in the titanium series, I'm going to be talking about a Ray Laconico designed semi-custom Jasmine. Now, why is it a semi-custom? So the parts themselves, from my understanding, are manufactured overseas. However, Ray Laconico does take this and he hand assembles it, tunes it up, and he also gives it a serial number, and those are his initials right there in the inside of the backspacer. I've had this for many years, actually, probably about eight plus years. Ray Laconico is a US knife maker. I haven't seen any of his customs in a while, but let's get down to some dimensions. So on overall length, we're looking at 7¼ inches. Oh, a little less, 7 1/8 probably. And then the cutting edge is fairly well at 3 inches. Handle itself, we're looking at just slightly under 4 inches. The width is coming in at about 1½ inches. And the thickness, not including the pocket clip, is right under 1/2 inch. The weight on this is 3.84 ounces. It's got good weight to it, where I feel like it's under 4 ounces, which is it's a nice, between 3 and 4 ounces is a nice sweet spot for something on the lighter side to carry, in my opinion. It's compared to some other more popular models, I would say. So on top, we got the Paramilitary 2. On the bottom, we got the Para 3. Excuse me. The overall length is much similar to the Para 3, I would say. All right. It's got more cutting edge than the Para 3. In terms of the handle, yeah. Actually, this gives you a better 4-finger grip overall. What else do I have to compare with? Let's compare it to some Benchmades, huh? So here we got a 940. And on the bottom, we got the bug out. Overall length is very similar to the bug out. The cutting edge is pretty comparable. The bug out might have 1/8 of an inch longer on the cutting edge. You get a little bit more grip on the bug out though. And set this aside. Let's talk about the blade. So this is an S35VN steel. I do love how sterile the blade is. There's no markings, etchings, insignias. Well, except for on the spine. So on the spine, let's see if I get this right. I feel like, there we go. Laconico. And so this is not a customs. Usually I think the way that is written, I think I've seen R.Laconico as another option of how he brands his knives. So they all indicate either it's a, however you want to class it, a production, a mid-tech, a custom. It's got a hollow grind on it. Beautiful blade, I think. It's using a flipper tab, as you can see. And it flips very reliably. I have had this, again, for about 8 years, and I don't think it's ever failed on deployment. It is running on bearings. I haven't taken it apart though, so. Yeah. Let's talk about the handle. So this has got that kind of a matte titanium finish to it. It's using quite a few body screws though. So you got these three, which also hold the back spacer. Very simple domed pivot screw on both sides. It's got your blade stop pin right there. It's using a frame lock. This does not have a lock bar insert, so this does contact the titanium with the tang of the blade. It's got a mill titanium pocket clip, and the retention on this feels stiff, but actually from use, it glides in and out of the pocket fairly easily. So I'll give you a shot of that in the pocket. Yeah. So as you can see, got a little bit of knife sticking out. Does not take up much real estate at all. So, there you go. Let's talk about my final thoughts. I think this is certainly worth a try if you can get your hands on one. I haven't seen a semi-custom Jasmine in a very long time. However, they did create a production version, and it's been known as called the upside down Jasmine. The blade is very much like a spear point in a sense. Just the way the swedge kind of brings up to this point. And I think production versions may be available. I haven't seen it around. I haven't kept up with Ray Laconico in a while. I know that Monterey Bay Knives do have a lot of his designs that are being released through them. So if you look up Monterey Bay Knives, you should be able to find some available designs from Ray Laconico on there. I picked this up for $380. Again, about 8 years ago. So definitely discontinued. I haven't seen one of these. It's a solid titanium folder. Now, I think by standards of these days, like as companies become more competitive, there's a lot of options out there. But if you're a fan of Ray Laconico, which I feel like one of his best features is he has a very classic looking knife. There's nothing super fancy about anything. It just has an elegant look to it. From ergonomic standpoint, this does have a bit of a hot spot all the way through. Just they're not sharp edges, I would say, around the pocket clip, but I mean, they're chamfered enough so it's not sharp, but you can feel it just how square it is, how boxy the clip is. But you do get a 4-finger grip, so you do have control in that sense. My initial thoughts when I saw this, I was like, oh, is that a finger choil? No, I wouldn't use that just because this portion of the edge is still going to contact top of your finger. It's got great action, solid lockup, reliable flipper. Jeez, tongue twisted this morning. It's very elegant. I just love the sterilness of it. I think that the less branding is almost the better these days. People don't want to see a bunch of stuff on their blades. At least that's my opinion. Yeah, super clean. And while I've had it for 8 years, I haven't carried it that often. Just it's one of the symptoms when you start getting into knives. You got to rotate through them, right? I'm not the type to keep a knife though in the safe as a safe queen, so to speak. I do enjoy carrying my knives and rotating them out. I've used this to cut and it does slice well. It's just, no cardboard cutting or anything, but because of the hollow grind, it does get through different mediums quite easily. Yeah. So if you can find one, I would definitely recommend it. And this is one of those pieces that elegance of it will always have a place in people's collection, in my opinion. So yeah. Let me know if you have some of his designs. I've had a few in the past. This is the only one I've kept. Let me know what your thoughts are. Drop any questions you may have. But as always, really appreciate you tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your day and stay frosty.